In this video, we're going to be talking about how do you set up a form that you can send out to your clients that allows them to update the address you have on file for them. So this is going to be broken down into 4 or 5 videos. And in these videos, we're going to go over how do you set up the form, how do you integrate the form into Zoho CRM, how do you send out the link to the form, and then how do you make sure the whole thing works as expected. In this particular video, we're going to be setting up the form so that it could be sent out, but we're not going to integrate it into Zoho CRM. That will be on the next video. What you're going to need to start is you're going to need a Zoho CRM account. You're going to need a Zoho Forms account. As you can see here, I already have a form made, right? So this form contains an email, a last name. We'll go over why we have these two in a bit, and then an address. This is the actual information I want my customers to be able to update without contacting me. So when we're thinking about this particular workflow, there's going to be a few things that are not going to be there for the end user, right? So again, we don't want the customer to have to enter in their email and last name. We already know their email, last name. They know that we know their last name. We know that they know that we know their last name, right? So we actually don't want to collect this information. So what we're actually going to end up doing is hiding these two fields so that all that gets sent out is an address, right? So they can update that address. So let's go ahead, let's start out by doing that. So in the email, right, I'm going to click this properties thing. I'm going to go down and hide field. Click save. I'm actually going to do the same thing with last name. Last name, hide field, click save. Now, that's nice, right? But we still need this information filled so that we know who's actually submitting the form, right? So this is the trick to this, right? In Zoho Forms, in settings, on the left-hand side, there's this thing called field alias. And we're going to set up the field alias. So I click field alias, I choose the field, I'm going to click email, and I'm going to type email, right? And then last name, I'm going to put L name, right? Now I'm going to click save. Now, what this actually allows me to do, I go and refresh my form, you'll see that it's missing, right? So what I can do now, so if I go to share, I copy this link, and I paste, right? If I put a question mark and type email equals, let's put in my email, so Andrew at etherautomation.com. Then I'll put an ampersand or and sign. I'll go L name equals Simpson, right? I click enter, right? You'll see in the URL, this information is still here. So let's type test, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The country is Canada. Okay. If I click submit, right, and then let me go back to here and click all entries. What you're going to notice is that it still gets that information. The information I put up here, right? It says Andrew at Ether Automation, last name Simpson. So it actually pre-filled this data in the form. So this lets us send out a very specific link to our customers. So we know who's filling out that URL or that form. And this allows us to gather information without requiring the customer to enter in their last name or their email address. So again, what we've now created is a form that shows the end user just certain fields that we want them to see and allows us to designate who is actually filling out that form for the end user.